Philly manages to be both one of the most well-designed cities and one of the scariest looking at the same time. Although it's designed closer to the walkability of many European cities instead of the typical American style of just putting a highway straight through it and having all the McDonald's and Walmarts on the side so nobody can walk and everybody has to drive, all of these row houses make my stupid Chicago brain just see it as a death trap if you're ever walking around and somebody comes out shooting. But Philly, the king of all cities. I told y'all,
Philly be looking like a motherfucking third world country. That shit like Call of Duty map.
These people forget even has a state with a culture known well around the world. From the blue collar working class that you probably wouldn't ever want to have any type of disagreement with, to the inner city urban youth who you also don't want to have a disagreement with. Philly is one of the few cities where you truly should watch what you say. Whether you at a football game or just walking through the hood, you're always a couple steps from either a good laugh or a punch in the face. Now, it's the 8th oldest city in America, literally founded just because the King of England was so in debt to a guy named Willie Penn that he basically just gave him all of Pennsylvania, hence the name, so they could finally call it even and Willie would stop showing up outside the king's house asking for his money back.
What you looking around for?
That's crazy.
Where my money at, man? Don't come with that bullshit.
But unfortunately, Philly has become one of the most crime-ridden cities in the U.S. And this is historic.
Niggas got real states named after them. Like, that's crazy to me.
From the mob making deals with several unhappy wives to kill their husbands and split their life insurance policies, which led to about 70 poisonings in the 30s. One of the most successful bank robbers ever.
Pause, bro. I ain't never heard no shit like that. He said the mob get with a wife who don't like her husband, smoke them, and then they'll split the motherfucking life insurance. Damn.
If not the most successful bank robber ever, being from Philly, the largest cocaine seizure in the history of the United States just happened here 6 years ago. 20 tons, which for reference is the same weight as 7 Ford F-150s combined.
20 tons of cocaine.
To the gang violence that most of the world only became familiar with just recently. This is the whole reason Will moved to Bel Air at the beginning of the Fresh Prince.
Bro.
Philly is something else, to say the least. Now, of course, more recently than Mr. Disrespectful, we saw something that is just not common anywhere in the world. Back when I was in high school, sure, I've seen a gang member be really good at playing sports, so good that I literally saw the guy I'm speaking about dump an entire book bag full of college offer letters out on his desk. But the Noah Scurry story is like something straight out of a movie. Something that probably will have its own movie in the future, but I don't think this is just a Philly thing. This has to be something indicative of the scary future all of those dystopian movies predicted. As I remember,
there's a lot of stories that need to be movies or like shows. You know what I'm saying? Like that King Von, Lil Durk, Lil Tim situation need to be a movie, bro. The Noah Curry need to be a movie, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. It's a couple other situations I'm thinking about in my head. The Fulio shit.
Athletes in high school were cool just because they were athletes. Nobody cared if they were in the streets. But I will say that Noah apparently watched a lot of his friends be murdered as he grew up. And I use the term grew up loosely since he died at 17. It used to be a lot less common to lose this many friends in high school. And I'm not that old, but 10 years ago even, it seemed to be a lot less common than it is now. But like I said in a past video, peer pressure is real. But it works both ways. Even if you in the streets, when you see your homie is not only a star athlete, but a star student, you tell him to sit down. This kid was smart and athletic, which is also not common. I literally watched my high school manipulate the grades of several athletes. I mean, all I did was run track and they pulled me out of class when I was failing psychology and asked me if I wanted to switch classes. But hey, I don't know when Noah first did the dirt to seal this fate, because as we all know, some things you do in the street, like murder or even shoot at somebody in most cases, there's not much your friends can do to protect you when somebody wants your blood to be spilled specifically. Still though, it's amazing that he was even motivated to do his homework or be an honor roll student and score high on the SAT. But then again, it probably just wasn't difficult for him. School is just not challenging for some kids. Not me though. I was in summer school, night school, and Saturday school pretty much every year because of some class I failed. And let me not forget the more organized side of crime in Philly, such as the Warlock Motorcycle Club, which I first heard of when one of the members caught a guy from the Prospective Biker Club. And I'm not even entirely sure I can explain what he did to this guy, but
biker killed Prospective Club member. He killed him at a cemetery by shooting him 4 times, tying a rope around his neck, then dragging him to a crypt. After opening the lid, he disposed of his body into a 19th century crypt at the cemetery. These motherfuckers. Hey, bro. I want to put y'all on to some of the easiest money you'll ever make in your life.
Freecash.com is a website that allows you to literally get paid hundreds of dollars just for playing video games on your phone. All you need is an email and a password. Follow the directions on each of the campaigns and you can earn at least $100. My personal favorite game to play was Sunrise Island, and when I clicked on it, they had a $370 bonus. I got $370 just for playing a video game on my phone. On average, it only takes about 17 minutes for most people to start earning money on freecash.com. So if you need some free, easy, extra money, go to freecash.com, click the QR code right here, or go in the description below and start getting that bag. You did?
One thing I learned about doing these reactions, do your homework on reactions. I learned that it's a lot of crazy ass people in the world, bro. Like, good Lord.
But he ended up dumping him in a 200-year-old crypt, literally tried to bury this man with history. And it seems like these guys took over the money making and trafficking as the mob entered into more ethical business. For instance, in Chicago, a lot of former mafia guys own and lease out garbage trucks, junkyards, and back when gambling was still illegal in Illinois, they even leased out illegal slot machines to bar owners and split the profits. Although at least in the past decade, the Philadelphia crime family still has soldiers moving weight, but they seem to be mostly out of the way. Some of them did just catch a RICO in 2020 though. Now, surprisingly, in 2024, Philly recorded the lowest number of homicides that the city has seen in 11 years, which means that despite the world seemingly growing more violent crime is decreasing in many cities. And honestly, I still don't know why this is. In a time where it seems like the youth cares less and less, maybe the old heads were right. Kids are more timid now. And maybe that's a good thing. The guys in their 50s and 60s that call everybody soft nowadays should be happy that people are not the same as they were back in that day when the murder rate was out of control in the 70s to the 90s. Weirdly though,
you know, and that'd be weird because I think even in Chicago, like, let me see, Chicago murders 2025. Okay, so like I be seeing a lot of cities basically where it might seem like violence is getting crazy because we getting on Instagram and YouTube and we doing these reactions and shit. And so, you know, we looking at this shit every day to a point where it's like, okay, this getting crazy. Like, this nigga killed this person and this, but I ain't gonna lie, bro. Chicago homicides are down like a motherfucker. There have been 299 homicides in Chicago, which is a significant decrease of 117 homicides compared to the same period last year. Right? Now, if motherfucker asked me, I would tell you that it's getting worse. I think this is what's going on. I think more people in Chicago are acting like they tough. You know what I'm saying? Like, all this internet shit is just a facade. I think more people in Chicago, Philly, in the country, period, more of these kids, these young niggas is acting like they doing something, but more of them is not doing anything at all. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that, like, when a nigga like Bloodhound, Lil Jeff come out the court, it's like, oh, he crazy. He killed 11 people, and oh my God, I can't believe he killed so many people and all that. Yeah, but that's one person. It might be a few of him walking around in Chicago, but that's really it. Everybody else just playing gangster, just hanging on the block to make it seem like they gangster. But they ain't really killing nobody, bro. This is 117 homicides less in September than it was last September. 117 less murders, bro. Understand that.
Philly was much more dangerous in 2021 than it was in any part of the 90s, which is crazy because most big cities were the complete opposite. Whereas trends usually spread around the country, city to city, Philly stays in its own lane. A trendsetter from the beginning. This is where the first Continental Congress was held, when the early Americans decided that the British had gone too far and we should try our own thing and make our own country. And shout out to Ben Franklin. He might have been born in Boston, but the historians know he jumped off the porch in Philly. He loved the city so much that he pretty much proposed to the first Philly girl that he met. The man was only 17, but he saw the beautiful city and immediately knew this was the place for him. But of course, at some point in this video, we all know I'm gonna have to mention Kensington. This is not just a regular drug
This shit need to be studied.
problem. There are streets similar to this all over the United States, but why does Kensington seem so much worse? We've got the areas in San Francisco, Santa Monica, and even Skid Row in LA. But how did this happen in Kensington? I've seen the police come out in force just to clean it up, only for it to be right back the next day. Now, like most areas similar to this, you have a ton of people who came here from all over America. They got high, saw how easy it was, and they kept coming back. And the next thing you know, they've been standing out here for 10 years.
Right.
Especially with the certain drugs that seem to cause this signature lean that we've seen in these videos.
Look at that lean. Look at everybody leaning, bro. Why do you want to do this shit? I'll never understand.
Trying to come by and exploit this area for views. I just want to ask, how was so much trafficked into Philly? Of course, one of the biggest drug busts in history happened in Philadelphia, but are those two things related? What was caught at the port of Philadelphia was more of a rich man's drug, you can call it. Meanwhile, out here, what they have is definitely cheaper and more dangerous. And it's probably just anybody that can get their hands on it selling now. But back in the 80s, during the crack epidemic, the K&A gang, or the Irish Mafia, an Irish-American crime outfit, were the ones primarily controlling the distribution in this area. But of course, that still doesn't answer my question. Or how this area was once described by the New York Times as the Walmart of heroin.
Damn.
Man, what a description that is. Now, in 2023, the Philadelphia police only had 39 officers in Kensington, which is a neighborhood of about 40,000 or more people. Less than 50 officers in one of the most lawless parts of the city just seems crazy. But the police have increased their presence in this area, and from what I've read, it's starting to turn around, slowly but surely. And apparently trank has been an issue in the rural areas of Puerto Rico since at least 2008. But Puerto Rico is not even connected to the mainland US, so it's still kind of unknown how this drug increased in popularity all
over. I got my camera tweaking again. This should be pissing me off.
Over North America. Boats, I guess? And strangely, it's not even considered a controlled substance. It's not even considered a controlled substance federally, meaning in some places you can just order it online. So I'm guessing the dark web at least plays some part in this. Either way, I'm still amazed that cities like Philly, New York, and Chicago are actually declining in crime. I can never get out-of-towners to believe me, but just going back to the neighborhood I grew up in Chicago, after leaving for a few years, I was amazed at how different it was, honestly. I was raised in the heart of the South Side, and it's completely turned around today in some areas.
A lot of them places, bro. Last time I not the last time I was, well, yeah, the last time I was actually in the city, like riding down Cottage and shit. I'm telling you, gang, it look a lot different, bro. And I know they finna start like redoing King Drive and Hyde Park, getting even better and better and shit.
But it had been trending in that direction for years. The same with Philadelphia. And even in Brandon Buckingham's video he did with YBC Duel, which was Duel's last interview, even he remarked that his neighborhood was completely different since most of the guys causing trouble were now either dead or in jail. Which you could say is what will eventually happen in any hood if you give it a little time. But this, along with gentrification, leaves way for the regular Philly residents to walk around and feel safer. And it also brings a better environment for the kids to grow up in. I remember being a kid in the middle of the city, not even thinking that there was any way it could ever improve. But as I became an adult, I saw the impossible happen. And as I always say, don't just believe the media. I mean, I guess I'm part of the media now, but there's not $1 billion company behind me. No rich guys buying my words to sway me to change my opinion on things. I only have a voice because of you guys. And it's an honor for me, honestly, to be able to tell you stories like this. And that's probably one of the best things about now and the future. You can just get on YouTube and give your own unbiased opinion without having a network buy you out and create their own narrative. But we know Philly is too tough a city for anyone to change the narrative out there anyway. If you're from Philadelphia, you love it, with the good and with the bad. Like anybody from any city, nowhere is perfect, but together we can definitely make the best out of any situation. And I honestly wish the media and the news would talk about the decline in crime statistics all over the United States. And sometimes they do, but honestly, with all of the distrust around the media, rightfully so, it's kind of hard to believe them until you do your own research. But anyway, thank you as always. Long live liberty and the city of brotherly love. I'll see y'all next time.